Hey guys, it's Bree and welcome to my channel, Just Breezy. If you're new here, I would love for you to consider subscribing. Just be sure you hit that bell for notifications because I don't want you to miss out. We upload weekly content to share resources, help spread awareness, and tell some of life's stories because like we say, life isn't always just breezy, but together it can be a little easier. So guys, if you've been following me here on YouTube or over on my live streams on Facebook, you know that I'm pretty much an open book when it comes to my struggle with anxiety. It's something that I have experienced since I'm a kid, and it was something that I really didn't fully understand until I was a young adult. And honestly, it wasn't until recently that I decided to do something more about it after seeing the way it was affecting my quality of life and my relationships with my children, my husband, and just people in general. And a lot of people found that surprising because this is who I am. This is genuinely who I am. I like to be a positive person. I like to enjoy life. I like to make connections with people and try to make a difference for others and make things in their own life not so difficult. But when they hear that I have struggled for years internally with my mental health, they're shocked. Part of that is because when we say something like, I struggled with my mental health, some people are like, oh, what? Does that mean you're crazy? And honestly, it's one of those things that I know it's really hard for people to say, I need help. Something doesn't quite feel balanced inside of me. I am really struggling. I have all these things on my plate and I don't know how to manage it, and I'm overwhelmed and I'm struggling and suffering more than I am feeling joy and happiness, and I'm at the end of my rope. That it takes a lot for somebody to say that, and that's where I was in life. I was struggling with my responsibilities at work, the different roles that I've taken on in life. You know, being a wife, a mom, a Girl Scout leader, a friend, somebody who just wanted to be involved in fundraising and just helping others. But I was struggling with all of the feelings, all the feelings that would come up of being overwhelmed and feeling anxious and not really understanding why. And I've talked about in other videos, feel free to check back, but how my life as a child and experiencing abuse and witnessing abuse played a great deal in that anxiety, how my family history, genetics sometimes set you up for that. But for me, and I'm very careful about the way I say this because I know there are people that have experienced trauma and things in their life that I can't even begin to wrap my head around. There are terrible things that people experience in life. And for me though, I got to a point where I couldn't just say, well, it's my family history. Well, I experienced A, B, and C as a kid. I had to get to a point as an adult, as a mom, as a wife, as somebody who truly loves enjoying life but was having a hard time enjoying life. I had to get to a point where I had to say, I need to take responsibility over that. I need to have conversations with my doctor that I was fearful of having about medication. And again, I did a video on that. Please feel free to check that out. I had to make a decision if medication was something I wanted to explore and add into my life. And for me, and I'll show you, little box, because even though it's just a daily pill, this little teeny tiny pill, I was so fearful of this. I was so afraid of becoming addicted to it. I was afraid of it making me a mommy zombie. I was afraid of it taking away my personality, and it hasn't done that. It hasn't done any of those things. There are medications that do have that effect on people. This one, after having an educated conversation with my doctor, I realized wasn't going to do that. And after being on it now for a few months, it's only allowed me to experience life through a different filter, if that makes sense. Through one that isn't so clouded with being overwhelmed and feeling anxious. It's allowed me to bring those feelings down here and have more room to work with. It's allowed me to reach out in a healthier way to people when I'm not at the end of my rope, but when I'm just feeling stressed and just said, hey, can we go grab coffee? I just need to chat. And I wanted to make this video and share some of those things again because recently I have heard from people that are struggling so much. Either they're people who have found the right medication and get to a point where they say, well, I'm feeling good now, I don't need this, and they stop taking it. And then they're right back to where they started because it's the medication that they're on that's really helping them find balance. I've spoken with people who have children with special needs, and they've said to me, I struggle greatly with anxiety, but I don't have time to focus on that. I've spoken to people who have children, teenagers, that are struggling with anxiety, and they're not parents yet. They don't have children. They don't have the different schedules, but they're dealing with trying to figure out who they are and how to maintain their friendships from high school as they're going to college, and maybe have a boyfriend or a girlfriend that, you know, they're saying goodbye to, or long distance relationships, or the pressures of social media and the pressures of living up to their family's expectations or their own standards. And a lot of times we say to those people, oh, you'll see, a few years from now, none of that's going to matter. The stresses that you feel in high school, none of that's going to matter because in a few years you won't even know those people. But the truth is, wherever you are in life, whether it's high school, college, or transitioning into a new job, you're engaged, you're married, you have a family, you're trying to have a family, your kids are now grown and off to college, wherever you are in life, that's an important part of your life because you're in it. You don't want to hear, oh, in a few years, none of that's going to matter because you're in it. And you can't live life thinking, well, in a few years, it's not going to matter, so whatever. You have to figure out how to experience the phase that you're in right now in your life and enjoy the hell out of it. And if you're struggling, you need to get to a point where you could say, I need help. And whether that's reaching out to your parents, your best friend, a counselor, a family member, you need to find that strength. And I know it's not easy. People, a lot of times they look at those words, I need help, as weakness. They look at those as being a burden on other people. They look at it as, well, that must mean that I can't handle things on my own. And guess what? It's okay if you can't. It's okay if all of the things that is going on in your life is too much. And you need a little help. You need a little lifeboat. You need somebody to say, hey, I'm here for you. It's okay if you need professional help. Don't let anybody in your life make you feel like going to seek out therapy, doing the work. Guys, if you go to therapy, this is not a quick fix. It takes work. Trust me, I didn't want to spend my money to sit on a couch for an hour to say, hey, when I grew up, really crappy, shitty things happened. I want to talk about that. I want to relive it. I want to cry my eyes out. There are so many other things that I would have rather have done with that time and that money. But the months that I spent talking about that and working through that made me have such an understanding for why I viewed the world the way I was viewing it. It made me realize that I don't need to be that scared little girl curled up in the fetal position on the floor because I was afraid of being hit. It made me realize that I didn't have to fear the safety of everybody else around me because I saw that as a kid. I saw everybody's safety being in danger. You can't hold on to those things. And I know that's so much easier. I know it's so much easier for me to say that than it is to do it. But there has to come a point in your life where you realize that this is your life. It's not the bully from school. It's not your stepfather. It's not your mother who you had a terrible relationship with. It's not the experiences that happened to you. It's your life to gain control over and do something with. Life isn't going to be easy all the time. It's not going to be this fairy tale, puppy dogs and roses and whatever the hell else. It's going to be really hard. Disappointment is going to happen. People are going to die in your life. Things are going to happen that are so traumatic. But if you are suffering and struggling more than you are enjoying love and joy and life, that's not okay. You're worth more than that. And I don't mean to get all like, but I'm thinking about people that I know right now that are suffering and struggling more than they are experiencing all of the good things that they could have in their life. And that's not okay, because you're wonderful and you deserve so much more than that. And if you don't have that person that you could just call up and text and say, hey, I'm having a crappy day, there are people that get paid, that are trained, that want to be there to help you. You just have to be able to say, I need help. And if you know me, I could be that person for you. If you need to text and say, Bree, I am having a day, I am having a month, I am having a moment, and I just need to talk, I'm here. You don't have to feel like it's just you, that you're by yourself, that you're at the end of the rope, that there's no other option, that you don't have a way out. That's how people get to a point of ending their life. That's how people get to a point of feeling so isolated that they can't possibly see their self-worth. And they can't see the light at the end of the dark tunnel that they're in because it's so overwhelming. Woo! But I don't know. I've been so touched lately by people reaching out to me and saying, I'm struggling. And I know you were struggling. And you know what, guys? It's not that I don't struggle anymore. This little pill isn't like, oh, poof, magic, everything is gone. It's just, it's helping me manage it. It's making me feel like I'm not drowning. And again, this is not me saying that all of you need to be medicated. Sometimes medication isn't for everybody. Maybe it's not what you believe in. Maybe it's just not something that you want to introduce into your life, but there are other things out there. There's therapy, there's groups, there's support, there's finding a hobby, there's finding your why, finding out your why. Why do you want to get out of that hole that you're in? And sometimes that's really difficult. You know, my why eventually had to be, it wasn't like, I wasn't a strong enough why, and I really wish that I was. I wish that my own happiness was a strong enough why, and it wasn't. My why was looking at my kids and my husband. My why was doing this and realizing that I'm connecting with people, and now I'm on that list. Now I realize that I'm my own why. That the reason why I do this, the reason why I had the conversation with the doctor, the reason why I decided for me that adding medication to my life was helping me with my anxiety is because I'm important enough. I'm deserving enough. I have so much more of my life to live that I can't allow my struggle with mental health lead that ship. And so many of you are allowing that to lead your ship, and you don't even realize it. And I'm not trying to be standing in my soapbox and you must do this, but I am just so passionate in having you understand that you're worth the time, you're worth the work, you're worth that phone call to somebody that can help you. And when you do that and you start to feel like you're not drowning and that things aren't as overwhelming and that you can see the light at the end of the tunnel and that you can put goals down to paper and enjoy life and get up on stage with a freaking band and sing and dance and have fun and not let the anxiety of, oh my God, what if, get in your way. There's just so much to enjoy. I can go on. Girlfriend could talk. I could talk and talk on this. So I'm going to end it, and I'm just going to say, guys, just take care of yourself and reach out if you're having a hard time. It's okay to reach out. Okay, I love you. I do. I love you. I love you because you exist. I love you because you're supporting something I'm passionate about. I love you just because, like, it's okay for us to just love people. Just be all lovey-dovey. But, all right, well, guys, listen. As always, thank you for your support. Thank you for sharing and liking and scrolling through the other videos and leaving a comment and just sharing your own stories and your own truth, because that's really important. But guys, as always, thank you, and we will chat again soon.